There is bad news, and there is good news, and there is bad news, and there is good news for the new Hyundai Ioniq 5. Here are the details. Here are the changes. Here are the sales. Here's everything you need to know about that car. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back, everyone else. Thanks for tuning in. First of all, let's get straight to it. Hyundai, they are building a car manufacturing facility specifically to build the electric Hyundai Ioniq 5 and other Hyundai EVs in the US. Now, production was meant to start next year. They're fast-tracking production to this year. They just started production now because why? Their sales are going through the floor. Yeah, they're going down. They're coming down. And one of the key reasons for that is the Ioniq 5 no longer qualifies for the $7,500 US credit in the United States because it's not made in the US. Hyundai have said they're doing this under, what was the word they used? Something like being forcibly coerced to fast track and build this factory in the United States. They're not happy about it, but they're going to do it. So anyhow, there is some big changes that have been announced to the new model 2023 version of this vehicle, which is going to be out in the market within the next few weeks. Changes are price increases in the US and range increases of a few other changes as well. Australian market price, US market price. Let's have a look at those details first. However, I want to point out the Ioniq 5 will go on sale in India very, very soon, which is good to see. Good to see that Indian car market, electric car market, starting to take off. It was doing nothing for a while. Things are really changing now over there. Ioniq 5 and the Tesla Model Y will go on sale in India within the next month. Now, in September, Hyundai Motor America sold 59,000 cars in the US. It's about 11% more than a year ago in the US, which is about 3.5% of total volume. So they're on track to sell about 25,000 Ioniq 5s in the United States this year. Now, Australia, we wish we could have that many cars. People here really are super keen for this car, but we can't get our hands on them because so few are being sold here. So, first of all, before I talk about the changes to the car, which has got longer range, which is really good, let's look at the price. In the US, the price of the base model is increased by $1,200 US to a pretty good price still of $46,250 US. But of course, the price has increased by really in total, if you think about it, about $8,700 because you're no longer getting that federal tax credit. So it's a pretty big price increase. However, the price of the limited all-wheel drive model has increased as well by about the same amount from $56,300 to $57,800 US. So that means, depending on the model, the price is as much as $9,000 US higher. However, the new model is getting a pretty significant increase in power and range. And the first of those models is arriving this month. Prices for the Dynamic and the Technic, which is what we call them here in Australia, have increased by 2,100 Australian dollars and 2,000 Australian dollars respectively. So the price here in Australia has gone up by around $2,000. All models get a larger 77.4 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery. It's a ternary battery, not an LFP battery pack, just for those of you who are wondering, replacing the old 72.6 kilowatt hour unit. That increases range in the rear wheel drive Dynamic from 481 kilometers to 507 kilometers, which is about an increase in range about 14 miles. All-wheel drive models, they go from 430 kilometers to 450 kilometers. So about the same, around about a 15 mile increase in range for the all-wheel drive version. Power is up. Rear-wheel drive models now produce 168 kilowatt of power and 350 newton meters of torque. That's about 250 horsepower. And all-wheel drive models produce 240 kilowatt and 605 newton meters. Meaning power has increased by 8 kilowatt or about 12 horsepower in the base model and 14 kilowatt or about 18 to 19 horsepower in the higher spec model. However, in Australia, and I believe in the US, all models get a new ride and handling package. Hyundai says wheel control, bump absorption, and body control were key focuses for its engineers, and it promises a perfect blend of ride comfort and engaging dynamics no matter the road or road surface. Now, that sounds incredible to me, but maybe a bit too good to be true. Perfect? Nothing's perfect, but I'm sure it's an improvement. The new Epic model available only with dual motor all-wheel drive, sits atop of the range. That comes with a trio of features. These include digital side mirrors like those in the related Genesis GV60 that project camera footage from outside the car onto two dedicated OLED displays in the cabin. They're said to reduce blind spots, while the external camera units reduce aerodynamic drag. A new high-efficiency heat pump system provides the cabin heating, incorporating waste heat energy from other systems to warm the cabin. Now, if you're wondering why those mirrors on the outside reduce aerodynamic drag, I think it's because they're just smaller. So, yeah, it's a good idea from Hyundai to do that. If you can get away with it, why not? Now, I know some people who drive electric cars who actually fold their mirrors down when they're driving on the highway because they know they get better range. Obviously, it's not legal to do that, but some people do it. Finally, battery conditioning is said to improve both driving and DC charging performance in colder climates. By setting a DC charger as your navigation destination, you can preheat the battery to ensure the quickest possible charge. The next bunch, or batch as we call them, of Hyundai Ioniq 5s coming to Australia will be available to pre-order online of November 2022 at 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. That's for us Aussies. Now, you guys in the US, you can get them at dealerships. You don't have to fight like we do. All of us have to get online here in Australia at exactly 1 p.m. and literally fight each other to try and get on there. I mean, it's a digital fight. It's not a real fight, but I don't really like the way they do that. I think that's ridiculous. I think it should just be a waiting system. Everyone should put their names down, and whoever's first in terms of getting onto this wait list should go first. And, having this weird thing where you just have to have a click fight at 1 p.m. at 26th of October at 20 on, that to me is just a weird way of doing it. I'm not a big fan. No, there are a lot of people have just gone, no, you can have it. You can have your car. I'm not going to fight you over it. Anyway, that's the way that Hyundai have decided to do it here in Australia. And obviously in other countries around the world, I'm assuming they have a different system, or maybe they have the same system. I don't know. Let me know how it works in your country. So over 200 cars will be available across these trim ranges across all states and territories bar the Northern Territory. So as you can see, not many cars here for us Aussies, just 200 on that date. Now, obviously, you guys in the US, you're getting a lot more cars for some reason. Don't know why, but you are, which is good for you guys. In Europe, of course, not a whole lot of sales there, not a whole lot of vehicles available, but definitely a lot more than what are available in Australia. Now, servicing intervals, and this is an interesting one because BYD required some interesting servicing intervals. In fact, you've got to take your car in for a service after 5,000 kilometers, which is crazy. EVs should require very little servicing. So Hyundai has changed the servicing plans as a result because they know that nothing really needs to be done to the cars. So servicing now has been extended from 12 months or 15,000 kilometers to every 24 months or every 2 years or 30,000 kilometers, every like 44,000 miles. So about every 22,000 miles, you got to take your car in for a service, or 2 years, whichever is first. Now remember, all Ioniq 5 models support 400 volt and 800 volt charging infrastructure. They charge pretty fast. Hyundai says it'll take only 18 minutes to charge from 10 to 80% using a 350 kilowatt ultra-fast DC charger, if you can find one, or 73 minutes with a 50 kilowatt fast charger. A 10 to 100% charge using a 7 kilowatt AC charger will take 11 hours and 45 minutes. Now, the best way to charge your Hyundai soon will be using a Tesla charger when they become available in your country. Of course, Tesla's supercharging network is the fastest. It won't charge at 350 kilowatt, it'll charge at 250 kilowatt, but it's still the best network to charge them on. I'm sure lots of Hyundai owners will be charging them on the Tesla network as soon as those superchargers become available to Hyundai drivers. Now, how big is this car? First of all, let's have a look at it in inches, and I'll go to the metric version. Wheelbase, 18.1 inches. Length, 182.5 inches. Width, 74.4 inches. Height, 63 inches. And in metric, it's 4,635 millimeters, which makes it, well, a bit more than 100 millimeters shorter than a Tesla Model Y. It's 1,605 millimeters tall and 1,890 millimeters wide. And it's got a 3 meter wheelbase. So it's a little bit smaller than a Tesla Model Y. Boot capacity is 527 liters. So the boot is also around about 20% smaller than a Tesla Model Y's. And it has a 57 liter frunk. So the boot in the front is about 57 liters. However, if you get the all-wheel drive version, the frunk or the front boot is actually about half the size, 25 liters, so pretty small. Now the Ioniq 5 comes with a 5-year unlimited kilometer warranty. It's got actually one of the best warranties of any electric car on the market right now. Depending on your country, some countries are different. Now, in terms of this vehicle, safety rating. It's got a 5-star safety rating for every agency around the world, in the US, in Europe, in Australia, everywhere, 5-star safety rating, which is actually pretty good. For example, the BMW i4, which is a pretty new electric car, came out in around June to July of this year. That has a 4-star safety rating. So it is actually a very safe vehicle, this Ioniq 5, very similar to the Tesla Model Y. But by the way, the Tesla Model Y has scored higher tests in the safety rating. In fact, the Tesla Model Y is the safest car ever tested in the US or in Europe. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Have a great day. Bye-bye.